Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is All Things Books and Publishing. I am Yvonne Mason along with Mary Brotherton, and today is our regularly scheduled program that we run every Wednesday at 10:30 in the morning. The person that we were going to interview today had another commitment that she could not get out of, so Andrea Dean Banskoik will be with us on the 29th. Next Wednesday, our program will start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because we will be interviewing Margot Milton, who is
Milburn.
our international author.
It's Milburn, right?
Milburn, Milburn. She lives in the UK, and her debut novel, Passions and Pasties Under the Penlow Lighthouse, right now is Midnight Publishing's biggest seller. I am so proud of her because this has been a dream of hers for many, many, many years. So, we have a lot to unpack today. A lot. Mary's laughing because yesterday we spent 2 hours talking about the Chicago style of writing. Shall we recap it before we move on?
Yes. Oh, I
things?
see. Looks like we have somebody in our chat. I don't know who it is.
Nice.
I just see host, producer, and guests in the chat. So if you're here, where is my chat thing? Say hello.
Absolutely. If you're in the chat room, say hello. Join us because we like getting feedback from those who are watching. Someone is in the chat room.
Yeah, I just texted a hello to maybe get them to figure out how to do it.
Okay,
I know sometimes it's a little hard to figure out once you get into the chat what button to push to get where you need to go. We love to have people in our chat room. Yesterday we were here for 2 hours or something like that, and we saw nobody in the chat, but we found out after the fact that for some reason the chat room wasn't working. And
we had lots of people talking yesterday.
I hope they had a good time talking to each other.
They did.
I'm wondering why isn't Mary running her duck through the air? You know, I do have my duck back, my little
Nice.
message. So if you're here, you'll get special recognition with Mary's duck, and
There you are.
We'll know that you're here. So.
And I have not put up yesterday's show on all of the social medias. I will be doing that today, and then I'll put up today's show tomorrow.
People have no idea how much time that takes.
It takes, because what I do, I go in and I pull clips from the show and put them up on TikTok and Instagram, and then say, if you want to watch the entire show, go to our website and pull the show up. It also goes up on YouTube, which then goes up on our WordPress site, which is our author site. It also goes up on our Midnight Publishing page and all the other pages we have on Facebook. So it gets out there. Right now on our website for All Things Books and Publishing, we're at almost 23,000 viewers.
That's a lot of people.
Mary's speechless. And the thing
I
is,
had to actually look at that number in my head to realize how many people that is in such a short amount of time.
and of course we're at over 4 million on YouTube. We're working, 40 million. We're working on 41 million.
4D?
4 million. I have to look it up. It's getting huge.
You know, I'm not a mathematician. That's why I'm an author. It's just so much easier. But we have so many statistics. And Yvonne and I both love to talk about statistics. And I know yesterday we were talking about how many books are on Amazon. And at last check, there were 49 million and counting. Every now and then, once a month, I go through and I find out where my books are on Amazon. Especially when I found I have two that are still on top 100 list. Ramonda's extended warranty came out in November of 2025.
Yeah.
It jumped within the first week. It was the #1 new release in all categories. It has been on the top 100 list in childhood and adolescent asthma category of books. There are probably, I checked on that a while back, I want to say there's over 100,000 other books in that category. For that one of mine to make it to the top 100 is not a small feat. But every now and then I'll go through and I'll check out Carol's books or Andrea's books or Gwendolyn's books. And it doesn't really matter whose books I'm checking on. Almost all of Midnight Publishing's authors' books rank in the top 100,000. Some of them, for some reason, 1,000 words doesn't have any ranking at all. I don't know why. There's no ranking listed.
I wonder why.
I don't know. There's not a category listed or anywhere. It doesn't even show up as usually, I think Faith and Folly may be my lowest ranked book. And it's in under 10 million. To me, that's still pretty impressive when there's 49 million out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And every single one of our books is under the 10 million mark for sure. And that has a lot to do with the cover, has a lot to do with the inside, the text is one of the words. Content, yay! The story inside the book. You would think a writer would have her words, but and I'm a public speaker, but sometimes the words just don't come out.
It also has to do with the fact that we do our own marketing here. We don't pay an outside marketer. We do pre-promotion, we do post-promotion, and we're all the time putting new things up. Like right now, for instance, Margot's book has got five-star reviews. I have to go in and pull those down and put them up.
Jealous.
I'm sorry.
No, they are well deserved.
And the fact is, ladies and gentlemen, I also go back and I pull book covers and create new 10, 15-second ads for covers for the books. And the reason for that is it keeps it out there. Anytime I do a 10-second video, it goes up on every place that we are on social media, on the internet. It goes up on Twitter, on X, on Tumblr, on Substack, on the website, both websites, on Facebook, on YouTube, on iHeartRadio, Deezer, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, podcast, I don't even know who they are, but it goes up there. So if you pull up, let's just say Strength in Numbers, The Wilderness of Ren, Book 3 by Roy Owenby, he's everywhere. And as far as I know, Roy hadn't even done any promoting, but his books are everywhere. And that's because we do things for our authors that not everybody does.
It's because Midnight Publishing is everywhere.
Exactly.
And if you go to Google and put in any of our authors' names, and I don't care who it is, Buster and Lester, who wrote that? Isaac
Jones, Butler and Lester.
He does no social media promotion.
Not at all.
But if you look up his name, his book's going to come up on not only Amazon or Midnight Publishing, but it's going to come up on Books A Million and other websites around the world. And I'm not going to pretend like I don't know how this works. They work with Amazon, and they just get the book on demand from Amazon. They sell it through their website. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. But the beautiful part is that pie still doesn't diminish how much the authors get.
No, because the author still gets what the author gets.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we don't release books just twice a year. And
then you will never go to our website and see, sorry, we're not accepting manuscripts at this time.
No, you will never see
or,
that.
Please come back in June or October when we're accepting queries or when we're accepting submissions. We're 24/7, 365. Or as somebody said, I saw this, I think it was on 2.5 Men, 24/7 equals 32. So 24 plus 7, I think, I remember something like that. So he was like, yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah, I know, 32. And they were like, what? 24/7.
The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, when I get requests for books, like Sherry Ann sent me a request for books the other night, and it was after 5 o'clock Eastern time. I mean, it was 7, 8 o'clock at night. And the next morning, I did the order. We don't determine when our authors can contact us and when they can't. It might not get taken care of as soon as they contact us, but it's there. I know it's there. I know
it gets taken care of. It's behind the scenes, and it goes in the queue.
Exactly.
Because you organize them, and you know exactly who comes in on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and whatever.
And the thing is, the authors that we have, they just send the manuscript over and say, do your thing. And it makes my life so much easier because I can do my thing. I've got a book right now, Christina Whistler's book, The Raven's Flight, which is the third in the series of The Raven's Curse. And I'm already on the second edit, and I've got the book cover not done, but I've got the mapping for it. And so once I do the other edit and I set the book cover, I'm going to send all this to her and say, okay, here's the book cover. Make sure that everything is in the book you want, and then it will go up. And I usually do a 2-week window. That gives me an opportunity that if there's any issues, I can fix them before it goes live. And then once it goes live, if it's long enough, it goes live on hardback, Kindle, and paperback. And once the Kindle goes live, I get a little message from Amazon that says, okay, do you want to do your Audible now? So I immediately go in and set the Audible. It goes live immediately. We don't have a 2-year development window. If you're not ready to go fast track, then go where they have a 2-year development. We don't do 6 months down the road.
I got, I for some reason I don't know if other people don't get the emails I get, or they just don't care and they just let them go to spam and forget about them. But I get these emails, and I'm always very curious what they have to say, because I get some of my best reviews from spammers. But I got one the other day from an author named Donna Tartt with 2 T's, T-A-R-T-T. And I've seen her name, may have read her books, I don't know. And the email looked like it might have been legitimate. So I'm like, okay. I mean, I have a Gmail account. I don't fault anybody for that. But apparently, author to author, she wanted to know some things about me. And so my first response was, well, before I answer your questions, how about you answer a couple of mine? Well, that just, if you want to talk to a spammer, ask them to say potato.
Right.
And they just go, ah! They're like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Return to Mars or whatever that show was.
Right.
Total Recall. When his head explodes, he's dressed up like a woman or whatever. But anyway, while I was waiting for the response that never came, I looked up Donna Tartt. And I saw that she's, bestseller, blah, blah, blah. She takes anywhere from 8 to 10 years to write a book.
Why?
Now, it took me 40 years to get out of my way, but I had my first book written long before that. I've written many books in this last year that just, some of them needed polishing, some of them were brand new ideas. Some of my books, especially my children's books, come together very quickly. Grandma's Heart Attacker was just so spontaneous. I'd had to be inspired. But I say that it took me 8 years to write Steep Steps. It didn't take me that long. May have taken me a month or two. But then I had to do some research to fill in the blanks. I had to make sure that I knew what I was talking about when I spoke about Portland, Oregon and Salem, Oregon, places I've never been in my life. So that takes a minute. And there were, it's a book about addictions. I'm not an addict. I don't know any addicts. So I had to learn how things work in that world. But other than that, writing the book is fast. It's making it believable, making sure you got your research done. That's important. But I don't get 8 to 10 years for every book.
Could it be that part of that 8 to 10 years is the 2-year development that the big houses throw in there?
Yep.
And we don't.
What are they developing? If they tell me, if I'm working with an agent, because you can't get to the other houses without an agent. So I go to the agent, and the agent says, I need you to send me a completed manuscript. Just like Midnight Publishing says, send me your completed manuscript. Don't be sending me chapters. Don't be sending me ideas. Don't be sending me a poem at the time. Send me the completed manuscript. Okay, I send them the completed manuscript. Okay, I understand you need an editor to look through it and make sure I'm not going to do something that's going to embarrass the company. Make sure the grammar's right. Make sure the mechanics are done. It takes either Yvonne or me, or sometimes both of us, working on the same book at the same time, to go through and edit, because we're not changing the author's voice. We don't put our ideas into this author. We just go through and make sure that the author is following Chicago Manual of Style, which is, if you look at the Midnight Publishing submission requirements, that is a very condensed version of what you need. I don't understand how it can take another editor. Sure, I get it. If you've got a stack of 20 books and that's at the bottom of your pile, it's going to take a minute to get to it. But not 2 years.
Well, what they do, and because I have someone who works for one of the big publishing companies here in the village, what they do is they pass it through several different departments. They pass it through the first edit. Then they pass it through the font and point edit. Then they pass it through the book cover edit. Then they pass it through marketing. Then they pass it through promotion. Ladies and gentlemen, by the time this book comes out, it's old news. It's not even exciting, and they don't even market it as coming out anymore.
You know what blows my mind? That one email that you got, a day in the life of a publicist with one of the big 6 houses. One of the things that they do before they even get to the editing process of the manuscript is they vet every author. And they look at them and go, is this person marketable? Let's check out their social media. Oh, no, this person's too far on the left, too far on the right, stuck in the middle, whatever.
Too old, too young.
They want people, they really and truly want people in their early to mid-20s that they can suck dry for the next 50 years.
And that they can manipulate, because these writers are so hungry to be recognized, they will do whatever it takes, and then they get sucked into this vortex they can't get out of. Every day on TikTok, I see a new writer going, they're frustrated. They're frustrated. Writing is hard. What do I do now? How do I market? And they don't understand there is a formula that works outside of the big 6.
Yeah.
And that formula is make a plan. I call it making your grocery list, because writing that book is so easy. And you go, Yvonne, no it isn't. Well, if it's hard for you to write, then find another craft.
It's not your passion if it's hard.
Right. Writing is easy. And when I do public speaking, that's the first thing I say. Writing is easy. The commitment part is when you're committed to marketing, to promoting, to putting yourself out there. Well, I'm an introvert. I don't like to put myself out there. I saw this in the beginning 20 years ago. Yeah, I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want people to know me. I don't want people to know who I am.
On the book.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're the brand. Your book is the product. Your readers want to know how you got where you are. Your readers want to know why you write what you write. Your readers want to know what got you from point A to point B. If you're not willing to do that, then find another craft. Find another passion that you don't have to be in the public eye. Because if you're not in the public eye, they're not going to buy your books. They're not going to be hungry for your books. There are videos on the YouTube channel, and one of them is one of the investigative Discovery Channel documentaries I was on. That thing has gotten over 1 million hits by itself. And as soon as somebody new goes and watches it, they go in by silent screen. Ladies and gentlemen, what we do here is, when I say if you're coming on board, you have to trust the process. Part of that process is giving me a headshot and a bio, because it immediately goes up on our website. So that when people want to know who you are, they can go to that website and find you. All they have to do is put your name in. If you're not committed to doing this, then please find another craft.
And don't think, and I think every author might think this, maybe there are one or two that are more realistic, but the majority of us go, oh, I'm going to write a novel and I'm going to be instantly successful and I'm going to be the media's new darling. In fact, that my son Aaron and I had a conversation about that. He was actually worried that that was going to happen. He was afraid that his book was going to be the next Game of Thrones, and he was going to be skyrocketed to success and fame and all the bad things that go with it. And now he's like, well, didn't sell as many books as I thought I would. I said, but you're selling books. And if you sell more, then you're going to have to make public appearances. Well, why can't I do both? Why can't I be a recluse and just get all the money? I said, because it doesn't work that way. He is still gobsmacked that Gwendolyn Law's son wants to meet him because he listened to his audiobook.
And loved it.
And the audiobook was like pulling hen's teeth out of my son to get him to agree to it. I mean, nope, can't do it, won't do it, nope. And then overnight he changed his mind. And he's been selling the audiobooks just pretty much as quickly as he can sell the other ones.
And the thing with us is our biggest sellers overseas are the Kindles and the audiobooks. Because for whatever reason overseas they don't print on demand the paperbacks. A few of them print the hardbacks. But the Kindles and the audiobooks are the biggest sellers overseas. And that is important. You can add on the audiobook to the Kindle book. And if you have a struggle with English or with understanding the written word because of a challenge within your life, the audiobooks are fantastic. The audiobook is like a teaching tool. And this is the way we convinced Aaron to allow us to do his audio. Because it is a teaching tool. It teaches someone who's trying to learn English, and it's teaching people that struggle with English to articulate better. And I thank Amazon every day for giving me that tool for my authors. Because any book that I can put up on Kindle, with the exception of children's books that do not have chapters, I can put up on audio. And it works beautifully.
And what are the parameters on that?
They just have to have chapters. They just have, children's books don't have chapters. So, audio does not recognize it. But if it has chapters, it can have as few as 4 chapters. As long as it's got chapters, they will do it in audio. See, there goes Mary. She's thinking. I don't know what she's thinking.
I just thought about, we were talking before the show about how so many of us have themes.
Yep.
Roy Owenby, he's got the Wilderness of Wren. His wife is doing a theme. Christina Whistler has the Raven's Curse. Andrea has umpteen different kinds of themes in the goth thing. Gwendolyn has her domestic violence, and I got so many different themes, it's ridiculous. But I've got the If I Could Be. And we were thinking, Ron and I were discussing prior to the show, how we can bundle these. Because if you go on Amazon, it'll tell you people who bought If I Could Be a Butterfly also bought If I Could Be a Giant. But it might not show you If I Could Be a Mermaid. And I'm now currently, well, Yvonne's working on the hard part of an adult mermaid book. So at some point I'd like to bundle the two mermaid books. I have books about angels and getting ready to work on another one. So we'll have groups of the same stylized book. I've got two books on organ donations. So, and I could also bundle Grandma's heart attack attacked her in with the organ donation because it's all connected. But I'm thinking about the children's books. If I took the current 3 If I Could Be books and made the books chapters and threw in a 4th one, I would have my bundle. It never shuts off!
And see, we wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. All I have to do is take what I have and put it in chapters, and then you send me the 4th one, and then put it up as a If I Could Be book, not If I Could Be, just If I Could Be.
If I could be anything I wanted,
Then
and
we would be able.
You did that with Gwendolyn's comic book, coloring books. She had 3,
Yes.
I think.
She had 3, and we bundled them into one book.
Are they
But they're
selling
not-
for her?
They're not yet, but I suspect they will in time when it's God's time.
Yeah, definitely.
But ladies and gentlemen, what we do here is we don't put out books twice a year. We don't put out books in the spring, and we don't put out books towards the silly season.
Well, we do.
We put them out all year.
We put them out every other time of the year, too.
Titles right now that we have released in this month, and it's just the 15th of the month. Strength in Numbers, Wilderness of Ren, Book 3 by Roy Owenby. It is live in all 4 formats. Recovering Wonder by K. Paul Dawson, which is a new author. It is a spiritual inspiration book, goes live on the 27th. Make the Hurt Go Away by Michael T. Warden. It goes live on the 20th. This is a book about grief and loss when one loses a spouse and then starts a new chapter in their life, but the loss is still there. We don't get over that loss, because if we get over that loss, that means it never happened. That loss is always there. That grief is always there. We understand it, we recognize it, we know we love the person we lost. However, there is a new chapter that can begin again. Early Release by Mary Brotherton goes live on 7/20. Midnight Tea in a Graveyard by Andrea Dean Banskoyak goes live on 7/20. Beyond the Village Gates by Andrea Dean Banskoyak. It is live. That is her Viking novel. Raven's Shadow, which is the second in Christina Whistler's The Raven's Curse series, is live. I now have the 3rd book that I am working on. That's 8 books, did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books in 15 days.
That's a book every other day.
Just about. So what we do is we continually put books out there for readers, and we continually promote these readers. When I get caught up, if I get caught up, my next journey is to go back and do updated 10-second videos for these authors, to put them out there and say, did you know this book is out there? Or take the Raven's Curses books, put them all 3 in a 10-second, put the covers all 3 in a 10-second video and throw it out
that way for now.
Right. And we have to think outside of every norm spectrum that's out there, because we are independents. We have to be able to grab potential readers in a way they didn't know they're being grabbed, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
That's just what we do.
We're like the pickpockets. In reverse, you know.
In
We're
reverse.
picking your brain, and we're finding out ways to get inside your brain and make you want to buy these books, because they really, Yvonne has read every single one of them. I've read quite a few of them. They're real. We have a bunch of good writers in our house.
We have
And
exceptional writers.
it blows my mind how these writers are they're from all over. They're from every walk of life. They're from all over the world now. And we have
them in Georgia, in Florida, in California, in the UK,
Tennessee,
in
North Carolina.
Tennessee, in South Carolina. We
North
have
Carolina too.
Yeah, we have them from every place. In England, with the beautiful thing of internet, we can not only reach new authors, but we reach new readers. I know that Margot Milburn's readers in the UK are so excited because I'm seeing her books one a day. And ladies and gentlemen, we count success of our authors by one book at a time.
Oh, absolutely.
If one of our authors sells one book in a month, they're successful. They're successful.
The minute that we give our first submission to you, we're a success.
Exactly.
Because for every author, and we have what, 30?
Yes. They have more than.
If I'm doing the math correctly in my head.
We either have 30 or 31. We have 146 titles out there.
I'm not going to try to do it in my head. I'm going to do it on the calculator here because I know better. If 1 in every 100 people who says they want to write a book does. So if we have 130 people who've written books and published, I was right in my head. That means there are 3,000 other people out there who have said, I'm going to write a book one day, and haven't done it yet.
Or have written and let it sit because they're either afraid to put themselves out there, they are afraid of failure, and failure is not doing it. Failure is just saying, well, nobody will read it, so yeah, I'll just write it and let it sit here. Maybe someday. Maybe someday's here now. Because let me tell you something, when you are gone, if that's the legacy that you leave of maybe someday, then you failed. I would rather get an author that sends me a manuscript and we sell one copy, and then that author is no longer with us on this earth, than get an author that says, well, maybe someday. And we've had those writers. Maybe someday.
Them go up to the edge. All they needed to do was say, yes, I like it, or can we work on this little piece right here?
But
instead, they go, yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. A lot of people, in addition to being afraid of failure, are afraid of success. They are scared that it will change them, or it will change how their friends react. Case in point, I was telling you before the show about my friend. We were tight as ticks. We were thick as thieves. And I sent him my first 3 books. I have become, or he has become, a ghost. I don't know who's the ghost. I haven't heard a word from him. And I thought about sending him another book. And I said, you know what? I've already sent him 3, and he hasn't even had the decency to do. I think he said thank you, but I'm not even sure he said thank you. So why bother?
And ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we talk about a lot on this show, is when you allow another person to steal your dream, shame on you. Because that other person doesn't have the courage it takes to live their dream, whatever that dream is. And they don't have the courage it takes to understand that there will be haters out there.
Oh,
Lord, are there haters out there. And those haters are haters because they don't have the courage to fulfill their dream.
did you see my post about iced tea?
I did. That was cute.
I thought you'd like that.
Yesterday, before the show, Mary and I were talking about why we do what we do here. All I can say is what I said was inspired by God, because I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
And what I
Well,
said...
maybe next time I quote you, I'll say Yvonne, through God.
There you go. What I said was, Midnight Publishing is like a pitcher of iced tea. Without the pitcher to pour the tea into the glass, if the tea is all over the floor, all over the cabinet, you can't drink it.
You can't make iced tea without a pitcher.
Exactly.
Or some kind of vessel, some kind of container. Because iced tea, now, both Yvonne and I are from the South, we understand. Iced tea requires copious amounts of sugar.
Yep.
And a little bit of ice. Tea and water. But you have to put it all in something and stir it. You can't do it in your hand. There's no way to make iced tea in your... I mean, I guess you... Well, you might be able to make enough to feed a hummingbird, but you can't share it. You can't pour it out into glasses for others. And so we started thinking, that's how God is. God needs a vessel to pour his love into, then that vessel can then share that love. And on LinkedIn, I posted it on all my social media. And this morning I saw a comment on that post. Somebody I don't know. And I'm not sure what the intent was, so I'm letting it simmer and kind of figure out if I'm going to respond or not. The comment was that vessel a 12-year-old Jewish girl named Mary?
What? They took the whole thing right out of context.
Because what I said, in addition, I made the little meme, and I said, this is why Midnight Publishing doesn't charge anything. Yvonne and I are the vessels / tools that God has chosen to help other indie authors, readers, and other people. Because I know that we're reaching people that may not buy our books, but they're watching our videos and they're learning. They're learning. Now, understand, folks, we're not here to preach. We're not here to convert. We're not even here too often to say, praise Jesus. But it goes beyond religion. What we do has very little to do with religion. Actually, I think it has nothing to do with religion per se. It has to do with the creative force of God, whatever made the universe. And it doesn't matter if you believe in God, a God, many gods, a specific God, or not. If you believe in anything that is greater than yourself, then Midnight Publishing is here to help you as a service to that God. We know who our God is. Yvonne and I serve the same God. We know who he is. We know what he does, and we don't care if you call God he, she, it, or they. But we know our relationship with our God. So we do what we do for no fee. And that was all I said. So this person decides he wants to take it and go religious.
First of all, religion, ladies and gentlemen, is a theology. You study the theology of religion, and there are thousands of religions.
Yep. There are hundreds. There are, I think, more than 900 different varieties of Christianity. Just Christianity. And then you've got the offshoots of each other dogma.
Midnight Publishing is faith-based. And when I say faith-based, I understand that my God is in charge of what I do, or else he would not allow me to do it. At the success rate, we're in our second year, working toward our third.
With how many books out?
We have 146 titles out there.
Unbelievable.
And authors who would not have had the opportunity to not only be read, but to even come alive, are now doing that. For instance, Carol Bellavance, who we drug kicking and screaming into Midnight Publishing, bless her heart, has blossomed into a spiritual inspirational author.
And her books are outselling everybody's.
Yeah, she is from New York. She lives in Florida now. When her books come out, 15 at a time go out. And it's because of her network in New York. It's because of her network here. The same thing with our other authors. It starts small. It starts within a small group of friends and relatives. And then those friends and relatives tell other people, and it becomes, as the new catchphrase now, a groundswell. But you have to work at it. These wonderful authors would not have had that opportunity had we not opened it up to them through God's intervention.
Look at my brother.
Yeah.
He came in like a child seeing the ocean for the first time. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. Ooh. Now he's like surfing the waves, you know. He's on his fourth book.
Let's see.
Lamb Boppers, the bulletin board, Get Off My Bus.
Make the Hurt Go. Yeah,
Make the Hurt Go Away.
This is his fourth book.
In a very short length of time, what, 3 months?
Not even 3 months.
And when he first came to us with an idea for a book, Yvonne and I said, great idea. We like it. But you need to fix this, this, and this. And he pretty much was like, you can't make me, you can't make me, you can't make me. And then a month later, he's back on fire. The newest book from your
Make
friend.
My Heart Go Away?
No, your friend who's got an initial and then a name. I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. I want to say C. Dale something, but that's not it. He just wrote a book about, it's a religious book, like a study book.
Oh, K. Paul Dawson.
K. Paul Dawson. He came to us with a really interesting looking manuscript that was as far from our guidelines and specifications as night is day. I mean, it was like, he had words on paper, but was it formatted correctly? No. Everything about it was just about wrong, except the words were great. And Yvonne looked at it and she had me look at it, and we both came to the same conclusion. He needs to fix this. And he did. He didn't complain about it that I know of. And he fixed it, and now it's ready to be released.
And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we don't do 20 different colors in a book. The only time we do colors is when it is graphics. The reason for that is simple. We want to keep the books affordable for readers. Every time you put a color, every time you change a font, every time you do anything but the basics to that book, the price goes up. It goes up for them to print it, it goes up for the author to buy author copies, and it goes up on the retail side. So we want to keep the KISS method going. And that's what I explained to him. He had 15 different colors in this book. He had the margins spread out across an 8.5 by 11, which we could not fix. No matter what we do. Our books are 6 by 9, unless it's Sherry Ann's coffee table book, which is absolutely amazing.
Or the children's books.
Or the children's books. And the children's books are a specific 8.5 by 8.5, because that is standard in the industry. So when people say, well, I want it bigger. Okay, we'll do it bigger, but understand that cuts into your cost. When you want an author's copy, that also cuts into the cost on the retail side, which makes it higher, which cuts into the printing cost. So in order to make our books reasonable, hard copy, paperback, and even the Kindle, we have standards. And the hard copy, the paperback, and the Kindle covers are all different. That's why I say, don't send me completed covers, because it won't end well. Send me an idea, and I can work with it. But don't send me a completed cover and say, I am insistent on using this. I am not going to move, because I'm going to tell you the same thing that I told an author that was coming to us. Then you need to take your book somewhere else. Because this potential author said, I don't care if my books blend in or stand out. I want what I want for my book. Okay, then take your book somewhere else.
Take it down to an office supply place and have them print it up for you.
And I'm going to tell you something else, ladies and gentlemen. If that same author had told a vanity press, a small press, or even the big six, I want what I want, they would have told him the same thing.
Or they would have said, okay, fine. That'll be an additional $500 to make it the way you want it.
And the thing is, we don't do white covers here. I learned a long time ago, when I first started in this industry, white covers are a big faux pas in the publishing industry. They get lost in the millions of books that are out there. We set a standard that our book covers stand out. They don't blend in, and that's one of the first questions that I ask any author. Mary will tell you from personal experience. Do you want to stand out, or do you want to blend in? Because if you want to blend in, we're not going to do your book.
We're not the blend in kind of people.
No, we don't blend. And as Mary says, every day she gets another email. I saw your book covers. They're wonderful. We know they're spammers. We know they're probably doing that to everybody and God. But the fact is, they saw those book covers. If you pull our book covers up, you will see.
Well, you and I have been to 2 public events together.
Yep.
I think it's just 2 with my books.
Yeah.
And we put my books out there, and they're on display. People literally come swarming. They line up, and they're Googling or ogling the books. They're like, wow, who did your book covers? And Yvonne just says, I did. And that starts a whole conversation. And we met so many people at both the Cocoa Village event and the one at the Rialto, the Writers Conference. Yvonne and I spoke there. That was not long before I was put in the hospital a second time.
You gotta quit with the hospital.
I'm done. I'm done with that. Curtis told me the other day, he said, look, I'm taking a couple days off this weekend. You're not allowed to go to the ER. But no, we've gotten, I feel very confident that we have everything under control with that. It was just a medical snafu that didn't work. Worked for 50,000 other people, but it didn't work for me.
Because you're strange. Let me tell you what happened the other day. The woman that used to do my covers when I started, she did outstanding book covers for me. She charged me for them, charged a pretty penny, but the book covers popped. When I started this business and redid all of my book covers, because after a while, ladies and gentlemen, your book covers need to be refreshed. It's like rotating product in a store. You've got to rotate it. You've got to change the display. You've got to keep things fresh. This is what she told me. I am redoing all of my books and sending them to you for you to do the covers and publish.
Wait.
Yep.
The woman who you paid to do your book covers now wants you to do her book covers?
Yep.
What a compliment.
That's what I said.
Well deserved.
I've been sitting on that for a hot minute because I had to process it, because you saw all of my previous covers. They were fantastic.
They were. She did the Pink Canary?
She did.
And Silent Scream?
She did Silent Scream. She did them all.
Those two are probably my favorites of yours. They just, they are so good. I want to see one. I might disappear for a minute, but keep talking. I'll listen. I'll hear you.
When I went back and redid all the covers when I started this thing, and she's seeing the covers come out of these authors' books, she sent me that note and said, I'm redoing my books. I want you to publish them and to do the covers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is the ultimate compliment. Because, like me, she understands making covers pop. All I would have to send her is, this is what the story is about. I just sent her a synopsis, and from the synopsis, she created wonderful covers. So, Debbie DeSantis, thank you for that compliment. It's very humbling to be able to say that out loud, because we have come a long way. Anytime Andrea gets some of the emails that Mary gets, she says, here, talk to my publisher. She does all our marketing and all of our covers. What?
I'm going to see if I can share. I think I can share. I think I can share 2 pages with you.
Okay. Under media?
Maybe I can. Oh, yeah, I can. I want to share it with the audience. This is the Pink Canary cover.
Okay.
And this is Silent Scream.
All right,
I think
that
you already
book
have a new one
is no longer available. I do. That book can only be found through third party because I redid it.
Okay, let me see if I can find you. And I'll just...
The new one...
There we go.
There's
this
all
is
the new
one
covers. That's the new cover.
That's the one that just grabs your attention.
Yes.
Because it's so in your face. Okay, I'm happy now. I can share stuff.
So this is what we do. Show them Andrea's Beyond the village gates.
Okay.
If you pull her up. What we did, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm forever using Andrea as my guinea pig, and she loves it.
Oh my gosh. Partly because she's so willing, I guess, and she's
Yeah, she's willing to be my guinea pig. So what I did, she wrote her first Viking novel. She was so excited about it, and I wanted the cover to be super, super, super special. So as I'm working the book, as I'm editing and working the book, this cover starts generating in my head. And at the end of the book, she put her author bio up, she put a headshot up, and she is dressed in Viking attire. And I thought, and I didn't tell anybody I was going to do it. I just went and played with it. So I went to the program I used, and I pulled up the headshot, and I said, create her in full body in the middle of two men, a young girl, a Viking ship, and the Viking banner behind them. Make her appear younger.
I'm not finding her book. Let me see if I can look under her name.
The program did it. So I created the cover. I sent it to her, and I thought she was going to come through the computer. I didn't tell
you do that to us.
I did not tell her she was on the cover. I just sent her the cover, and she went, "No, you didn't." I said, "Yes, I did." When I did Midnight Tea in the Graveyard, I did the same thing. She sent a headshot in her widow's weeds and her gothic attire, and I took the headshot. I said, I need a full body sitting on a bench in a graveyard with a basket filled with tea and things and a ghost behind her. I sent that cover to her. Again, she tried to come through the computer.
Let's show that
but
one.
I'm
still looking for the Viking book. What I love about this, I love the video that you made to go with it.
Yes,
but
there's
that's
several.
Andrea.
That is Andrea.
I'm looking for, you did this one too. That's another powerful one.
It might not be it. I love that cover.
This is a really good cover. It's slow because it's sharing.
I took the description of I took the description of the main character and said, "This is what I need." That's one of her free ones. And the program that I use gives me a base, and then I build from there. That's all of her old stuff. The other one may not even be up yet, but it should be. She might not have put it up. Go on Amazon and just pull up Beyond the Village Gates, a young warrior's, the making of the young warrior Astrid story. Just put Beyond the Village Gates, it should come up.
Astrid's story, right?
Yeah.
There we go. I found it. Hold on. Get it pulled up in large. And she used a pen name on this one.
She did, because that is her Viking name. That's why I put both names up there, so that people would understand that that is indeed her. Is it letting you pull it up?
Yep, I got it. I got smart this time. I set it up ahead of time. And this is
Ladies
our
and gentlemen, look at this.
warrior princess right there.
How many publishers are that creative? None of them.
Well, see,
I'm
I have a theory about that.
okay.
The publishers in the industry, it's almost like the medical field. Everybody is so focused on specializing on their one thing.
Yes.
I'm an editor. I'm an agent. I'm a publicist. I'm a copywriter. I'm a copy editor. I'm a formatter. I'm a graphic artist. I'm the publisher.
Carry on, I'll be right back.
I'm so important that I can only have one thing that I do. And here at Midnight Publishing, Yvonne, she doesn't need me. I'm here for comic relief and to jazz up the place. But she can do it all by herself. And she does everything by herself whenever she has to. I mean, she bounces things off me. But she can edit, she can format, she can design. She's an artist in her own right. She sees things through an artistic perspective, which is very different. If you were only a publisher, you could sit in your little office and do absolutely nothing but communicate with people all day long.
Right.
You could delegate, but you do everything. And that's a dangerous thing. I can remember, oh man, probably, I'm going to say 20 years. Everything happened 20 years ago. My ex used to say just the other day for things that happened 45 years previous. For me, everything happened 20 years ago. But I remember in the last, it was more than 20 years, Curtis and I were between jobs at the same time, I think. And he said, you know, you are so lucky. You can get a job pretty much anywhere because you can do so many different things well. I'm specialized and I can't get a job unless it's available. I mean, you go to I remember once I had a problem with I had a headache that was like at the back of my head. And so my regular doctor, this was when we lived in Atlanta, sent me to a neurosurgeon. All the neurosurgeon wanted to do was cut me open because that's what he does.
Of course, they're surgeons.
So you don't go to a surgeon for skin cream. You don't go to a dermatologist if you've got something wrong with your gallbladder. You go to specialists who can do one thing and do it well. You don't take your computer to a mechanic. You don't take your car to Best Buy to get it fixed. Everybody has their specialties, but when you've got a team like Yvonne and me who are multifaceted and multi-talented, and dagnabbit, we do everything we do well. It's not like we're bragging. We just know we've been gifted. God gave us both unique talents. And together, we could set the world on fire without a match.
Just think if we were 40 years younger, we wouldn't have all this knowledge.
We wouldn't have the experience or the wisdom or the willingness or the ability to share it. Because if we were younger, we'd be raising our children.
And think about this. But these new authors, new writers, they don't know the history of where we've been and that we were part of that breaking that glass ceiling. Ladies and gentlemen, when I published my first book in 2006, 20 years ago, this year, there was no social media. There were no available websites unless you coded. And I never learned to code, didn't want to code, didn't have the patience to code, because if you got one string of that coding wrong, it threw out the entire thing. There was no podcast. You either had to go through a vanity press, a small press, or one of the big six, or you had to go through a third-party printer.
And there was no Amazon like we know today.
No. So I went through Lulu. Lulu was the only available source for someone who wanted to independently publish. And Lulu was a pain in the neck. Absolute pain in the neck. Still are. I don't use them. There were 7 of us that grouped together and said, okay, we are going to do this, and we're going to do this with each other. And we all learned. My first social media was MySpace, and when I tried to get the author that didn't want to be out there on there, they didn't understand that, okay, you're the brand. If you don't put yourself out there, how are you going to sell books? This is our window. This is how we start. It has taken 20 years to get here. Through having a podcast, through Blog Talk Radio, personal appearances, being on documentaries, listening to people bash my true crimes because they weren't written for them. It's a process. Going to events when I really wanted to crawl in a hole because I didn't feel good. If you weren't there in the beginning, you cannot appreciate where we are now. Right, Mary?
Oh, you can't. I cannot remember how many side-eye glances and snide remarks I got. I was working as a journalist, making decent money, and enjoying myself. I was writing for a living, and I would go to local book author groups, writing networks, and network hours and meetups, and official organizations. And one of the first things they'd ask was, how many books have you published? Oh, I haven't started on my books yet. I've got some to go, but right now I'm focusing on earning a living. Doing what? Well, I write for so-and-so newspaper or such and such a magazine. So you're not really an author. Well, yeah, I was. I was being published. My words were getting out there with my name on them. I just hadn't published a book yet. So I was a writer, not an author, which is a distinction. But then I 4 years ago, I self-published my first book by finding a printer and having them print it. I still had to do all the formatting myself. I had to do everything to get it to that point. And trust me, I still have boxes of books to prove it. But I still was not, in their eyes, a proper author because I didn't have an agent. They looked down on people who did it themselves. Nowadays, DIY is proudly proclaimed from everywhere. People love other people who can do it themselves, who can do everything from scratch. But when I was trying to get into the industry, and I was in the industry, but as a journalist, and I wasn't doing it for myself. I wasn't selling my books. I wasn't writing my books yet.
You were on the fringe. You were on the fringe.
Yes.
There is a bookstore here in Vero that I absolutely refuse to patronize. It's a independent bookstore, but I absolutely refuse to patronize because years ago, 2006, I went in and wanted to set up a book signing, and they were very rude, they were very condescending, and they were very non-supportive. And I said, there will come a time when you will need me more than I need you. I will not patronize that bookstore to this day, because as an independent bookstore, they of all people should realize what it takes to be successful as an independent.
Yes. I mean, an independent book author is entrepreneur from the word go.
Right. And they have the big six authors come in there because they say that draws the crowd. But they absolutely refuse to support indie authors. And I will gladly say the name. It's Vero Beach Bookstore. Vero Beach Bookstore over on Miracle Mile. I will not patronize that store.
Don't blame you. I went to a book signing one time because my husband suggested I should go. Ben Bova was the author's name. He writes sci-fi. I like to watch sci-fi movies and TV shows, but I don't like to read the books most of the time. This guy was so self-important. He didn't ask me my name. I had to buy the book. He just scribbled his name there, and I said, "Can I ask you a question?" He said, "I'm not here for Q&A." And I thought, why did I spend whatever, $15 on your book? I didn't read it because of his behavior. I didn't want to have anything to do with it.
The
People
flip
don't
side.
realize, what is it they say? Be careful of the toes you step on your way up. They're connected to the asses you got to kiss on when you fall down.
On the flip side of that coin, I went over to Sarasota to another little independent bookstore, not knowing that I was not going to be the only author there. James Swain, who I absolutely adore his books, and until that moment, I didn't know who he was. But he was there as well. You want to talk about someone who was very humble, very caring, very supportive. We swapped books. We took pictures with each other. And from that day forward, I've read every one of his books. We talked about how you fictionalize a true crime. He says, "Why don't you fictionalize that?" I said, "Because my background won't let me. I have to do it as a true crime, as a procedural for law enforcement, because that's how my mind works." But he had taken several real instances and recreated them as fiction. He hadn't put a book out in a long, long time, but he's just put a new book out, and I can't remember the name of it. But he was the flip side of the author that was full of self-importance. Tim Dorsey was another one. Met Tim Dorsey at an event I was working, and I think it was Author for Authors, come to think of it, many, many years ago. He was there, and again, very personable, very funny, had our picture made, we talked, and sadly he's no longer with us. But if you ever love sarcastic humor with the serial killer being the hero, because a serial killer only kills criminals, read Tim Dorsey's books. They're absolutely hysterical. But that's two authors that remembered where they came from. Anne Rice was another one. She always answered her readers. And this was a promise I made myself when I first started, that I would never get so big in my head that I would forget who the important people were. The important people are your readers, ladies and gentlemen. They're the people that buy your books, that tell other people about your books. You're not the important person in this equation. You're a part of the equation. The important person in the equation is your reader.
Absolutely.
I got an email one night, and this person said, "My name is Peter Fundura, and I just want to let you know I just finished Silent Scream, which was my first true crime." He said, "I absolutely loved it. I read true crime. I love true crime. I live for true crime." So I immediately answered him back. When he emailed me back, he said, "I can't believe it." And I read a little further. He said, "I can't believe you answered me."
Oh.
And he said some other things, and I wrote back, I said, "Why would I not?" He said, "But it was so fast." And he told me that his family lived down the street from me, and now he's Penelope as one of my queens.
I wondered if Peter was Penelope.
Peter is Penelope. And it's all because we built a friendship based on an email, because he had read my first true crime. I cherish that friendship.
I'm very cautious with ignoring emails that I don't know if they're spam or not, because you never know who might be out there. So if I think there's an ounce of genuine readership in it, I respond. And the minute that they turn into a sales pitch, that's when I turn on them.
Well, another email I got was from a young woman named Robin. And she asked me why I wrote Silent Scream. And I explained to her that the victims and the families needed a voice. That the perpetrator was living in infamy. But people needed to understand on some level what the family and what the victims went through. And the only way to understand it was to put it on the printed page. She said one of the victims was her aunt.
Oh.
It was her father's sister. And she said, "Do you mind if my father calls you?" I said, "Please. I do not mind at all. Here's my phone number." Well, he called. He was in tears. And he was in tears because her voice had finally been heard. And I said, "My husband worked that crime and helped put Gerard Schaefer away. Would you like a word with him?" He said, "Absolutely." I have never seen two grown men crying over a phone in my entire life as I saw John and my late husband talking about the victims. And the tears flowed. And it was healing for both of them. Because when I went and looked at the evidence boxes that they still had 20 some odd years later, 30 years later, Jack couldn't go back the second time and go through the box that held all the clothes. He could not go because he said, "Yvonne, I can't." I said, "I understand. I'm okay with that." Because he relived those crimes and it stayed with him. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are an author and someone writes you or someone contacts you, if you do not give them the courtesy of answering back, shame on you, because they are the full equation. They are the reason that your books sell. And you don't know what will come from that interaction.
I've had some people reach out to me that were clearly trying to sell me something.
Right.
And I'll just ask them, have you sound like you're really involved in my book. Where did you leave a review? Now, Amazon requires certain things before you can leave a review on Amazon. You can't just willy-nilly leave a review. You have to have made a purchase within a certain amount of time. But you can leave a review on Goodreads without ever having bought the book. And that's what this person did and sent me the link. And I'll take it. Leave me a review on Goodreads. Leave me a review on social media. Email me a review. And if you email me a bunch of smoke, I'll turn it into a review.
We'll flip it, because we can. We flip everything, because we can. But understand that just because you think you're wonderful, keep yourself humble. Because if you don't, it is detrimental.
Somebody will humble you.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry. There are people in this village that don't know all the things that I've done. They don't know I've been on television umpteen times. They don't know I've been on television across the pond. They don't know I've been on television in Australia. They don't know that one of my books is in French. I don't have to brag about it. I leave it to other people. If they're curious enough about who I am, they know how to Google my name. If they don't, then we'll teach them. But you don't have to go on TikTok and talk about how wonderful you are and how great you are and you've done this and you've done that. And you don't have to do that, because people that really want to know will find out. And when they approach you, don't turn your nose up at them.
And don't go on TikTok and talk about how hard the solitary writer's life is.
Honey, those voices in my head keep me busy all the time. It's not solitary. At all.
And it's not hard.
No, I got more people in my head than I can shake a stick at. And they don't shut up.
Well, Aaron was telling me that one of his biggest fans asked him about the book he's currently working on. He goes, "Tell me you're not going to kill off Nixie too." He goes, "Oh, no, I would never harm Nixie too. She's the darling of the story." And the guy looks at him seriously. He goes, "It's Nason, isn't it? You're going to do something to Nason." And he said, "No, I'm not. I love my people. They're my people. They're my precious little cargo of little people, and I can't imagine killing any of them off. I kill off the bad guys." So he said that Mike went like, "Oh, thank God." I was so worried because he's not telling Mike all the things that are going on in the book. He tells me.
Right.
But he's got Mike on the hook, waiting for the next sequel. And I told him, I said, "Well, you got Yvonne and Gwendolyn and Gwendolyn's son, and I don't know who else on the hook." But he said, "Well, Mike is so adamant. I don't kill his favorite people." And every now and then he said, "I'll look at him and said, not in this book."
But, and the thing, see, and that's a good marketing ploy, is to start putting little nuggets out there saying, coming soon, whatever the title of the second book is. Will Nason die? Will Nason get hurt? What's going to happen to Nason? Will Nason continue?
Well, something does happen to Nason.
Well, see?
And I'm actually going to text him right now because I don't want to forget.
We need nuggets. And ladies and gentlemen, this is all part of the marketing. It's called a hook. With every artist, whether they're music, painters, or books, there should be a hook in everything that you do. That hook can, in the song, the hook is usually a chord a line that plays throughout the song that gets caught in your mind like a fish hook in a fish's mouth. And when you hear the music, you already know that song by the hook. Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis. First 3 seconds of his song Great Balls of Fire, you know exactly what that song is.
Oh my God, yes.
With Andrea's Gothic books, you know exactly what her hook is. Because Andrea kills off everybody. She can't help herself. That's her hook. And you wait to see which one goes next.
And you and I are waiting for Christina Whistler to kill off Thaddeus.
Oh my word. Yesterday we talked about this. Christina Whistler's book, The Raven's Curse, the bad guy's name's Thaddeus. And in the first 2 books, his character build. Now, I love character-driven books because you see the plot, but you also see the character, the antagonist and the protagonist, and you see these characters growing within this plot. Well, Thaddeus has become a thorn in my side, and I told Mary yesterday, working on this 3rd book, I wanted to crawl into the book and get Thaddeus myself. Because he just kept trying. He just kept on being that thorn in the other character's side. Every time they'd stop him at one end, he'd do something else, which is the sign of an excellent written book. I have no idea. There's another one coming out that she's doing. I have no idea because they've stopped him for the moment, but I'm going to tell you what. Yeah. You've got to read her books from the beginning. They're absolutely wonderful because the main character in the book, Ruin, she's one of those reluctant heroes. And she's filled with anger.
As most teenagers are.
Right. She's 23, but she's filled with anger because her mother's gone, her grandmother's gone. She's left with this envelope that just appeared, and she's been invited to this academy. Well, she has a gift that she hates. She hasn't learned how to control the gift. And then when she gets to this academy, other things begin to happen, and she's really ticked off. But she learns, she grows, and as she grows with other students in this academy and with the personnel within this academy, and they all have this common enemy, Thaddeus. And Thaddeus goes back centuries. But the way that Christina has crafted this book, as with any good book, you have highs, you have lows, you have valleys, you have mountains. You get caught up in the moment of what's going on with Thaddeus, and you think, just one more page. And I'm editing this book, and I'm going, okay, I'm going to do one more chapter. I'm getting tired of making it. Ladies and gentlemen, I couldn't stop. And I'm editing this book. And I'm going, just one more chapter, and then I'm going to quit for the night. Because now it's 10 o'clock at night. And my brain's tired. My eyes are tired. My fingers are going, would you stop? And the brain's going, yeah, no. Just one more chapter. Then the next morning I have to go back and rework what I messed up the night before because I didn't see some things. That is a great book. This is the caliber of our authors. Right, Mary?
It is absolutely. And I wanted to remember, we were talking yesterday about Agatha Christie. And she said, well, all of my books are character driven.
Yes.
Most good fiction is character driven. You need to fall in love with your characters, and you also need to hate one or two of them. You need to have conversations that feel more than even sounding real. Aaron was just telling me that he removed 300 words of what he had written yesterday. And to him, that's a big deal. He's still a word counter. I'm trying to convince him
He
that's
needs to
not
quit
important.
counting words. We don't count words.
But the point was, he went back and he read something that Phage had said. And he goes, I just realized he was whining. And acting
Phage doesn't
like a
whine.
And exactly.
Phage is not a whiner.
He said he was acting like a martyr or a victim. Poor me, I put us in this predicament. I said, that is not who Phage is. I'm glad you took it out. Now go back and rewrite something different.
Phage would never question a decision he's made because Phage's capability of logical thinking far supersedes irrational thought.
Yes.
That's a mouthful, ladies and gentlemen. Figure that one out.
Yeah.
If you haven't read Manaphage, go get the book. Because we're not going to tell you anymore. That's one of those Easter eggs that we just toss out there.
We got lots of Easter eggs.
We do Andrea's book, Beyond the Gate. When I sent her the cover, what Andrea told me was, Yvonne, I wrote that book based on some of the things in my past because my father would not let me help him work on cars. He would not let me help him do things that I wanted to help him with because that was not woman's work. So Andrea took her emotions, feelings, and thoughts from when she was a child, and she loved her father. She wanted to do things with him, and he wouldn't let her. And she built a story based on that. So when I sent her the cover with her as a main character on the cover, not knowing the backstory, that's one of the reasons she almost came through the computer.
Yeah.
Because you could hear her voice in the story. I, on the other hand, helped my dad a lot because he and I were close. So I understand that need to be able to want to do the things with your father when you're that close to him.
My father had these gender roles assigned to each one. And he would tell my mother, when she started saying, I've got 8 kids, I would like to have a dishwasher. He said, I gave you 4, meaning his 4 daughters.
If I had wanted to go hunting with my father and my 2 brothers, he would have probably taken me. Hunting was not my thing. But when it came to promoting my books, when I became a bounty hunter, and I told my mother and father what I was doing, my mother said you could get killed. My father said, how many guns do you need? I mean, this was his mentality.
I love it.
Let's go look in the arsenal. So when I say that you have to listen to the voices, you have to listen to your characters. Once you establish that character, you don't recreate them unless there's a catastrophic event within the book that changes temporarily the mode of that character. Doesn't change who they are. It may change their moment of thinking. Just like Phage. Phage would never, ever, ever be a whiner. Now, there's a couple of characters in that book that would fit it that perfectly.
Well, Mason, as powerful as she whines.
She whines all the time.
All the time. Mostly about inappropriate things.
Inappropriate behavior, exactly. But that's who
Why
she
can't
is.
I go to the place I want to go to?
And we love her for that because we know who she is.
Yeah.
You cannot build a story based on plot alone. That's what's happened in the industry as a whole, is they regurgitate the plot.
Well, we were talking yesterday about Jack Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
There's a plot. And almost all of the highly successful authors are plot authors. Game of Thrones, Star Wars, Harry Potter, whatever. They have a plot, they have a theme, they have an idea. And they're successful. Outlander, we talked about also. These are successful because people like oatmeal. They like rice gruel. They want to be spoon-fed something that is easy to digest. This is why we have DiGiorno's pizza and jarred pizza sauce and Stouffer's lasagna or whatever. We have these pre-made meals that are easy. Stick them in the oven, stick them in the microwave, heat them up, eat them. They taste the same day after day after day after day, and there's no variety. We get used to that, and we like it because we don't have to wonder, is there going to be too much garlic in this soup? Maybe there's a little too much salt in the chocolate. No, there's never too much garlic in the soup. There's never too much chocolate in the salt or whatever. Variety is indeed the spice of life, but people don't want the spices. They want their spicy wings that they can throw in the microwave or go down to the store and pick up because they always taste the same. They never have to wonder, and that way they don't have to have their expectations crushed when they aren't met, or work too hard for the reward of the ending of the book. And that's why I think our authors are so precious and special, because none of us fit inside the boxes they're trying to make us fit in.
We do not. And the reason for that, ladies and gentlemen, is we allow, and I use that term loosely, very loosely. I'm going to change it. We expect our authors to be creative.
Yes.
We expect them to challenge themselves beyond that which they think they are capable of doing. I learned a long time ago when I was in management, and I managed C-stores in Georgia, down from the University of Georgia. I had the highest volume store in the company. I mean, I was at the University of Georgia, for crying out loud. My employees were college students that had never worked a day in their lives. Never. They came to work for me, and they came in with an expectation of X amount of dollars an hour. And I looked at them and I said, okay, what are you bringing to the table that warrants this amount of money? Have you ever worked before? I haven't. But you want this amount of money. All right, let's start over. Are you dependable? Yes. Will you be here on time? Yes. Will you do the job that is required for you to do? Yes, ma'am. Will you take care of this business carefully? Hold yourself accountable, because they were dealing in money, they were dealing in gas. Yes, ma'am. Okay, you're already bringing to the table the basics. I can't, under company policy, pay you what you're asking, but I can start you here and move you up.
Exactly.
As you gain experience. Those kids worked very hard and smart for me. On days we had game days, they would come in on their days off to fill the cooler so I didn't have to. I mean, we sold out of everything, but we never sold out to the point we didn't have it. So what I'm saying is, when we get our authors, there is a level of expectation I expect out of myself. I know how I write. I know what I bring to the table. I know the years of experience that I have. I don't expect all of my authors to be here because I expect them here, but I expect them to grow at their pace, not at my pace, because we don't
know about that. I don't know about that, because you unleashed something in me that one word, stop. Just, it was what I needed to get out of my own way. It was what I needed to give myself permission to do what I was born to do.
And sometimes that's what it takes. Let's take Gwendolyn Law. She had a book called September's Chill that she had been sitting on for a long, long time. And she DM'd me and said, I don't know what to do. I said, send me the book. But, I said, no, understand, honey, there's no buts. You either want it out there or you don't. The choice is yours. And the choice is yours to take. I'm not going to force you to put a book out there that you don't want to put out there or that you're hesitant. Well, what if nobody reads it? I said, what if they do? You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that you can be your own self-saboteur. You can be afraid to walk out the door because you might get hit by a truck. We all have an expiration date. So if you're sitting there going, well, I really want to do this, just stop.
What is it Yoda says? There is no try.
Do or do not. There is no try. Because if you're doing it, you've made a decision. If you decide not to do it, that's a decision. If you say you're trying, that's not a decision. You're sitting on the fence, and I've said this more than once, and when you sit on the fence, all you do is get splinters in your butt. It's that simple. And when you come to us and you say, well, I want to do this, and you agree to do it with us, and then we do all the work, and we send it back to you, you come back and say, well, I'm going to take it in a different direction. Honey, that's on you. Because what that tells me is one of two things. You're not sure of who you are, you're not sure of your product, and you really didn't want to do it in the first place.
It's not a passion.
It's not a passion. Not a passion at all. It is a side hustle.
Writing is a nice hobby.
Exactly. We used to get that all the time. You know, writing's a nice hobby. I got that one morning down at the hall, and I'm going, what? If you think this is a hobby, honey, you got another thought coming. When I'm in a shower and I'm in the middle of writing a book, and the voices say, but we're coming to play with you, and I'm going, no, you're not. This is not you're not in this story. Oh, but you're not writing it if we're not in the story. Yes, I am. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. You sit down to write it, and you're not, because those characters are determined, and they will find a way to worm their way into that story.
A couple nights ago, I was sitting on the couch with my laptop. It was about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and Curtis said, it is so good to see you just sitting on the couch playing. I said, do you know what I'm doing here every night while I've got my feet up, relaxing? I might be watching television, might be listening to music. I might be ignoring him while he's surfing YouTube. But I am not playing. He said, oh, I just thought you were playing a game, or... I'm like, do you not know me after almost 30 years? He said, well, what are you doing? I said, I am creating a post to market one of my books. Which one?
Pick one.
I said, well, right now it's whatever the book was I was doing from the balcony, I think. I said, but even if it doesn't look like I'm doing anything, I'm working on it. I'm always finding things that connect my book to the real world. And I'm finding things online that correlate to give a meaning, a purpose to it. And some books are easier to find information on. I can find information about addicts and abuse all over the place. But I can't always, and I can find stuff about heart attacks. But I can't always find information about butterflies and mermaids. Although I did recently connect something to, if I could be a mermaid, through a NASA photograph called the Mermaid Nebula. And I put a link to the photograph. I put the photograph, and I put a link to the article about it. And then I put my book next to it. I'm always trying to find a new way to connect.
And being able to put books up here to show as media is very important now that we've figured out how to do it.
Yep.
Because we can do that when we bring Margot on next week. And Margot is another one that sat and watched from the periphery for a long time before she decided to join us. The same thing with J.C. Masick. J.C. Masick III wrote The Black Dahlia, a Jake Slater mystery. Now, for those of you who do not know who the Black Dahlia is, she was a young woman that came out of the Midwest that went to Hollywood to make her fortune as a star. Well, she didn't make her fortune. She didn't become a star, but she became famous because of her death. And he had released the book in 2024 with a cover. And then he sent the book to me and said, please re-release this. It was one of those covers that haunts you.
I'll find it and show everybody because it was amazing.
Pull the Easter eggs out of people's books, and that's part of the cover. And the Black Dahlia's eyes were her famous feature. That's what people remembered the most about her.
They were her calling card.
Yes, they were her calling card. Her eyes were a magnetic blue. And the first time in this fiction, based on fact, that Jake Slater met her, she was dressed all in black. You have to remember, this was 1940. There's the cover. The murder really happened, but Masick turned it into fiction. Jake Slater, in this book, is a private eye. He has been hired to find somebody for somebody else, and he runs into the Black Dahlia. And then he tries to solve her murder because something is just not right. As soon as that book went into Audible, Mary, I messaged Brandy. I said, tell Lil John, that's my grandson, because he loves the Black Dahlia books, that the Black Dahlia is now on Audible, and he listens to a lot of Audible. So, when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that our books serve a purpose, our book covers serve a purpose, it's not just the jacket to hold the content. The front of the book starts the story. It makes the potential reader want to at least pick up the book, or look at the synopsis on Amazon, or listen to a sample of the Audible. The back cover of the book puts that reader inside the book. It's not just a plain black cover or a plain cover. It has depth to it. And there's a reason for that. We want the reader to be engaged in that book. That's why we said we have a standard. and we stand out.
I want to show you something
don't-
else I just found.
Yes.
This was the original, come on, the original cover to his book before you got your hands on
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yep.
Come on. Because
It
I think
it just
this will demonstrate. I don't know if I can do them side by side or not. This is what
Mary's
he
going
had
to show you
before.
with. Yes.
Let me see if I can pull up the other one side by side. Let's see.
And there's that one.
Shrink that one. Oh, wait a minute. They're in two different. They're on the same tab. Hold on. There's that one. And if I can open this in a new window. No. It won't let me.
But you see the difference, ladies and gentlemen.
To me, this
And
is
bring the
far.
first one.
This one, it shows her blue eyes.
Her eyes don't, but they don't.
But-
They don't speak to you.
No, I mean it's like, okay, well this one looks like a dead girl. This one looks like a fully vibrant living girl who attracted the attention before her death. This one is
Exactly.
what Yvonne did. This one is what his previous publisher did. I don't know if he published it himself or what.
I don't remember.
But there's no comparison. Let me try one thing here. No, usually I can open it in a separate window. And then I could shrink the two windows and have them
And
side by
then,
side.
ladies and gentlemen, when I promoted this book, I had the character speaking in the video. I spend my entire life trying to figure out how to make my authors stand out in this industry. I don't want them to be just another name. I want people to say, oh, Mary Brotherton, the Little Mermaid book. I remember. Pull up that book. Because that's one of the books that brings people to the table every single time. It's when I sent Mary the possible cover for the Little Mermaid book, that was another she's coming through the computer moment.
Oh, I called you on the phone
She did.
because I
She certainly
couldn't wait. I couldn't get my fingers to cooperate to say what I wanted to say on the phone.
There's a new chat message.
Well, let's see if I can figure out who it is and say hello and do this at the same time. I don't think I can.
No, I guess not. It's just still you.
It's just me saying hello in case anybody was there.
Hello.
Here is the mermaid.
There's If I Could Be a Mermaid.
That is,
That's not the
it's still, then you know, another one that got me was, I think it was my grandfather's
Dale's book.
book. Oh,
yes,
Dale.
that one got you too.
I see you. I had to stop and think for a minute.
That one.
That's the one. Trying to get it to come up.
And the thing is, Dale's another one of those people that had a cover idea, and Mary said, Dale, don't send it to her. Let her do what she does. And when he got this cover, he was amazed. Because that cover draws you right in.
It does. It's because of the eyes. And you know, something that I've noticed. Let me go back to my covers. Because I think other than you and Andrea, I've probably got the most books out there.
Yep.
We got eyes. We got eyes. We got eyes. Everywhere you look, we have eyes. Oh, look at that one.
It's because eyes are the window to the soul.
Eyes are the windows to the soul, and most of my books are very soulful books.
Yes.
This book here, I'm surprised it hasn't sold more, but it's to me, it was a very powerful book. Let me see if I can get inside it. Nope, paperback.
And it's on Audible, too.
It's on, oh, yes, it is on Audible. It's long enough to
Because
get it to be hardback, but it's not in hardback yet. Come on.
I haven't gotten it. That's one of those things I've got to put it in hardback. But see the eyes on that see the eyes on that child?
Yeah.
And the love of that grandfather.
To him. I don't know if I don't see a way to see. I wanted to sample. Oh, wait a minute. Got to go to paperback to sample the pages. Oh, it may not show anything besides the front and the back, but we'll see.
Go to the back.
Da 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 da. Come on, you can do it. I know you can. I see you trying. There we go.
That's the back.
And you see, we've got different cultures together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing about, and I know that was a challenge for you to get the images for all these many different grandfathers and yet do them justice.
But it worked.
It did.
And because, ladies and gentlemen, we don't use the same tired illustrations for children's books, again, we set a standard. We want the books to grow with the children. We don't want the children to outgrow the books. We want that child to be able to take that book into adulthood and give it to its child. And that is very important, because if a child has a favorite book, they want to share that book with their child years down the road.
They will read it over and over and over.
Again and again and again. So, understand we have several books coming out. On the 27th, Recovering Wonder by K. Paul Dawson. He is a new author. He is a minister. Right now he is in Brazil. This book that he has written, Recovering Wonder, again, was 40 years in the making for him, because he was afraid to put it out there. And the book basically is about living in the fullness of God and understanding the wonder of God's grace and knowing that we all have a seat at the table. And that when we allow ourselves the outpouring of grace from God, it's like a lava flow. You can't stop it. And I give all credit to God for this, for Midnight Publishing, because he is the one that's made it successful. He is the one that is giving us the tools to do what we need to do. He is the
Yvonne,
one
how can
that,
you be successful? You're not making any money.
but God takes care of me in ways that nobody understands.
That's the number one question I think I get is where does Midnight Publishing earn money? Oh, but we don't. Because we don't need to. We don't want to. To be honest, and we talked about this yesterday, if this was a money-making venture, it would be such a headache. Even when I ran a charity, I didn't get any money from that charity. I didn't make a salary. I didn't get anything tangible. What I got from it was the joy of knowing I was making a difference. But because it was a charity, it needed money to run. I had to constantly be begging for donations or reminding people to donate, doing fundraisers, setting up events, trying to get attention, sending out press releases, push, 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 push. And then there were taxes. Even though it was a tax-exempt organization, I still had to file a tax return every year. It was a joy until it wasn't.
Then it became a job.
It became a job. And when it became a job, I decided, you know what, I'm 70. I'm retiring. I quit. Shortly after that, I joined, about 6 months after, I joined it with Midnight Publishing. And I have felt more fulfilled because, oh, it would be lovely. I would love to be able to pay off our mortgage with my book money. I would love to be able to make sure we had enough money for taxes and insurance and food. Instead, I married well. And I'm very happy with that. And I have a very supportive husband. He has a job that takes care of all the financial stuff. But yeah, I'd love to be able to leave a legacy of financial freedom for my grandson. Will that happen in my lifetime? Probably not. It might happen with my estate. He might be able to reap the rewards of that. But I'm having fun. I'm writing books. I'm talking with a dear friend. And I get to do this every week. So I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
When we are able within our lives to understand that material things pass. Many years ago, when my grandmother died, who helped raise me, who was like my second mother, and we were cleaning out her house, a light bulb went off, and the light bulb was this: at the end of it all, everything that we own, material-wise, will belong to someone else, and probably strangers who have no sentimental attachment to it.
Yeah.
They're either going to buy it to resell it, they're going to buy it and redo it, but it all will belong to someone else because we cannot take it with us. The blessings that I get from God for doing this, I can't put a number on.
Mm-mm.
I get to watch other people grow spiritually, emotionally, mentally, with self-confidence, with self-respect, with self-assurance, with the ability to know that they can do what they want to do. They can live their dream. They are not hampered by the handcuffs that the world tries to put on them. They are free to be creative. There is no judgment here. Even when I say go bye-bye, there's no judgment because I say go with God. And if you decide you really like us and want to come back, the door's open. So when I say that God takes care of me, He takes care of me in many different ways. I got sticker shock this morning when I got my lot rent because they've jacked up. It's a whole story of, because we're building arrears for our garbage, and the county decided they were going to pay a year in advance for the garbage hauling. We all got hit with having to pay it, plus the arrearage.
Oh.
Plus the pass-through tax. So my normal lot rent went up over $300 for this month.
Oh my goodness.
So the money that I would have for other things, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do. God will take care of it, because my bills get paid first. And ladies and gentlemen, it's something else that y'all don't know. I don't ask my authors to pay for the programs that I use. I pay for those programs on a monthly basis. They're not cheap. That being said, remember, Strength in Numbers, The Wilderness of Ren, Book 3 is out. The first book is The Wilderness of Ren. The second book is Journey on a Hostile Sea. And then the third book is Strength in Numbers. Those are by Roy Owenby. Recovering Wonder by K. Paul Dawson is his debut spiritual inspirational book. Make the Hurt Go Away by Michael T. Warden. I highly recommend this book. It goes live on the 20th. I highly recommend this book for anyone that you know who is going through loss, who is dealing with
a great gift.
Absolute great gift. And if you're going through either one of those things, I highly recommend it, because it is told from a very personal, private standpoint.
I learned so much about my brother by reading that.
I
did not know.
Yeah, that took a lot of courage to put that out there.
Because it's a very real, visceral memoir.
Yeah.
And you know, his final message was, it's okay to fall in love again. You will never replace the one you loved. This second person is not a replacement, it's an addition.
Right. And you don't have to feel guilty. And you don't have to feel guilty for loving.
You don't have to justify it to your children, your sisters and brothers, or anybody.
No. You have a right to fall in love again. Then behind that one is Early Release of Mary's, which comes out on the 20th. It's another one of those little graphic books we do, easy read. It's hysterical. It's a satire. You just have to read it. You just have to read it. Then Midnight Tea in a Graveyard by Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc. This book is short stories and prose, and her gothic self has shown up again. Beyond the Village Gates, a young warrior's
story.
It's Astrid's story, but the makings of a young warrior, Astrid's story. And it's under Greenlee Roberts' Detour, but it's Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc. That one is live in all 4 formats. Raven's Shadow, which is the second in the Raven's Curse series by Christina Whistler, is live. I highly recommend you read the first book first, called The Raven's Cry, because you get to meet all of the players. And then the third book in the series I am working on now, Mary's got the adult If I Could Be a Mermaid, that is in the pike to be worked on next. We're busy. We are very busy.
July
but know that
is halfway over.
The year's over halfway over.
And we've released 7 books in this month. We've been selling books. Crazy. I think unless something happens dramatically.
Let me see where we are on our report for book sales right now.
Okay.
We have, as of right now, we've sold 36 books.
In July.
In July. And we
And
still
our
have
little
another.
British girl is number one again, probably.
Yes, she is. She has sold 14 books.
Go Margot.
So, for you authors, you writers out there, understand you are not the be all to end all in this journey. It is not about you. It is about your readers. It is about promoting your product. You are one of the vessels that puts that product out there. Case in point, Coca-Cola can talk about Coca-Cola all day long, but if they don't have a product to put out there, what good is the company? Coca-Cola is not the be-all to end-all. They are the business. You are the business. So don't get so high and mighty in your journey that you forget who the important people are. Because I'm going to tell you what, it will be to your detriment if you do that. When I have people I barely know come up to me and say, Yvonne, I want to be in one of your books. You can make me the villain. I've got a whole list of people that want to be in a book. I may never live to get them all in a book. But they will buy the book just to see what kind of character they become. That's the kind of relationship you want to have with your readers. Mary, any closing thoughts, honey?
I don't have time for closing thoughts. I've got ideas. Every time we talk.
What's your idea?
Well, number one, I need to gather up all the videos you've sent me and put them on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been working at this for a year with you. I guess
you can also put them up
July
on your.
would make a year that you and I've been working together.
You can also put them up on your author page on Amazon. Did you know that?
I need to remember how to get into the back end of mine.
It's not that hard.
I know. I'll figure it out, or I'll call you. But yeah, I would definitely like to do that, because I know there's a place to put them, and that might be the first place I put them. But I want to write a book now. Thank you very much. Called Maybe Someday.
Maybe Someday. I like that title.
I don't know what it's going to be, but I'll figure that one out. And then I think, I know I've been talking about doing Same Blood, Different Lives.
Yeah.
About my family. It might need to be a children's book. I'm not sure.
Whatever the voices say.
Oh, the voices right now are all competing for dominance. And that's probably because I need to eat lunch. But
I understand that.
I also need to get my exercise in for the day. I did a little this morning, but not as much as I did yesterday, and I want to keep my momentum going and keep that cardio up. And
that's why I go bowling on Wednesday nights.
Yep. My final thoughts are, if you're not willing to come work with a publisher who is so generous that she gives you everything you need at zero cost, and you're not willing to trust her to do honor to your book, keep walking. Don't
Please.
Stop here. Because we got, between me and the other 30 authors that you're working with and your own stuff, you have enough to stay busy.
I do. From now until forever. This is a labor of love. It's not even a labor. I don't even know what it is. All
It's
I
not
know
even a
is
passion project. It's a way to serve.
it is.
It's a
It,
ministry.
it's driven.
It's a kind of ministry.
So the bottom line is humility. The bottom line is gratitude. The bottom line is understanding that there are no strings attached. The only thing we ask is you trust the process, trust me, understand that I've been in this business before it was a business. I've been marketing since I was a little girl. I don't march to the band that's out there. We create our own band. We march to a different drummer. And if it's difficult for you to be in tune with that drummer or to be in step with us, then go someplace else. You won't hurt our feelings
No.
at all.
Because I promise you, every minute that you waste of Yvonne's is a minute she could be doing for me.
There's nothing selfish about Mary at all. Not at all.
No self-serving,
No.
no humility either.
So with that, we're going to close this Wednesday. Next Wednesday, our show will be at 2 o'clock Eastern Time so that we can bring on Margot. Then we'll go back to our regularly scheduled program. We have to, in order to be able to interview these authors, we like to accommodate, and because we can. It's one of the things that we get to do here because we run it the way we want to run it. And I think you will enjoy Margot. Go look on our Facebook page at Midnight Publishing and pull up the video that she did of her unboxing her books. That moment was priceless. Then you will understand why we do what we do. And with that, I'm going to say it's lunchtime. I got to go eat myself. I got to get clothes out of the washer and hang them up. And then I got to work on books until time to go.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for being with us. Share this. Subscribe to our website. It's allthingsbooksandpublishing.riverside.com because that's where all of this goes to begin with. Then it goes up on every social media out there. Join us at the Midnight Publishing group page. I've decided I'm not going to change it to a page. We're going to leave it as a group because we've got almost 600 followers now, and we're getting new ones every day.
Every single day, and it works just fine.
Absolutely.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
We ain't fixing it. Check out our authors. Buy their books. Support them because they live by a passion too.
And leave a review. Always go back and leave a review wherever you bought the book. And if you borrowed the book or if you were gifted the book, still leave a review. If you can't leave a review on Amazon, leave one on Goodreads or go to the author's social media. Doesn't matter what kind. Email the author if you have that email address. Everybody doesn't share their address. I do, because I don't care. But somehow, let the world know that you read this book by that author and give us your honest opinion. Was it good? Did it suck? Do you love it? Do you hate it? We need to know.
Leave it on the Midnight Publishing group page.
Perfect.
So with that, we will say goodbye until next week. Y'all stay safe. Stay safe. Mary, I will talk to you later.
All right. Happy no gutter balls tonight.
Okay. Love you, honey.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.